Good morning and welcome to On the Table, a daily breakfast show to start your day on the perfect note, especially since Barbados is within its first few days of becoming a republic, severing its colonial ties with England. We are your hosts, Bernardo Corbin, and joining me is Kiara Smith. As usual, we bring to you today three segments: What's Brewing, Buttering Your Bread, and the Health Nugget. But firstly, let's hear from our co-host for today, Kiara. How are you doing?
I am good, Fernando. How are you?
I'm great, actually. So just
Nice.
tell us, how would you have spent the Independence break, Tuesday?
Oh, wow. Well, I was actually working at the event, which, I feel honored to do. It was a lot of hard work, but it paid off, and we are now a republic. What about you?
Well, I would have spent the early morning similar to you, just working, from I guess a different perspective in the media. So yeah, I was a little tired during the day, but happy independence, happy first day being a republic. So with that being said, the first thing on the table this morning for what's brewing is Rihanna being dubbed the 11th national hero of Barbados, something that we all, I guess I could say, did not see coming.
Yes, indeed. Rihanna is the 11th national hero in Barbados, Fernando. She went from the little Bajan girl from Westbury Wood who loves to sing to a 9 Grammy Award winner and renowned artist worldwide, and now a billionaire as she established her very successful fashion, makeup, and beauty business. So, Fernando, I have to ask, do you think this was the right time to make Rihanna a national hero of Barbados?
Uh, does she deserve the honor? Definitely. Was it the right time? I think it probably wasn't. Seeing that if we look at the other national heroes, they are much older. Rihanna is only now in her early 30s, I believe. Yeah, so for me, the issue here is seeing her age and her status in society. I think that she definitely is prone to, or should be allowed really, to make a couple more mistakes. However, after being conferred um, to the Order of Barbados national hero, then the opportunity, well, I don't want to call them opportunities, but the chances that she has
Mhm.
to make mistakes now become slim because everybody is going to be expecting a certain standard from her. And I think it probably would have been in her best interest just to wait um, a bit until she's older, and has gone through a little more in terms of what she actually wants to do as an influential artist, designer, creator, not having to live up to the expectations of the entire Barbadian population. Because with this now comes the older generation looking uh, to Rihanna to be perfect. And as I said before, I think she definitely is prone to making a couple mistakes. But I may be wrong. What do you think about it?
Well, Bernardo, I think differently. I think that, we should give people their flowers, while they're alive while they're young and healthy. And I think that she has contributed, sorry, so much and has significantly put Barbados on the map, wherever she goes. I can understand the fear and the concerns. But I think, her foundation donated about 3.5 million Barbadian dollars to QEH. Then 5 years after, I think that was in 2012, 5 years after, she donated another $10,000 for the pediatrics department. Recently for COVID, along with the CEO of Twitter, she donated 4,000 tablets for Barbadian students and 5 million to help, relieve in the pandemic. The list goes on. So I think that she's a huge influence, and wherever she goes, she carries the culture with her, and that she deserves to be a hero while she's at it, because she accomplished all those things at such a young age.
Is it the right time though?
You see, because I also think that we have to change that aspect of what a national hero could be, because as you said, the older national heroes now, that would have been a different time. But I believe that all her accomplishments were done in their entire lifetime, really and truly. So it's a different time now, and things have changed. So there's a lot more that can be done, and I think that is definitely the right time.
Yeah, and I think it probably would raise a lot of red flags for some people, seeing that just early up this year, the Prime Minister kind of reprimanded local artists for the lyrical content of at least one song or one set of songs on a particular beat earlier this year, as I would have mentioned. Rihanna definitely is not a gospel artist or a gospel artist. Yeah, so I think for some people it may seem a little off. Is it just because she's making millions of dollars? Is it because she stands shoulder to shoulder with some of the best in the world? But I believe as young people, we would want to see somebody like Rihanna, not particularly in our age group, but just as a youth herself, be able to achieve such high accomplishments, which then for us gives us the hope and the encouragement to want to be great in whatever we do. So from that aspect, I see it as a positive. However, as she continues as a national hero, I guess everything would then unfold, and we would actually get to see, was it the right time? Was it the wrong time? Would we have helped her by withholding the honor just a couple years longer? And I guess I can say I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So just before we move on to our next topic, the Prime Minister would have confirmed that next year on Heroes Day, we will be, or she rather will be announcing the other national heroes after Barbadians will submit their submissions as to who they think should get the honor of being dubbed national heroes of Barbados. So you could just tell us, if you were to choose two persons, who would they be for this honor? Welcome back to the On the Table Morning Show. Joining us today for our Buttering Your Bread segment, we have local business owner Jared Trotman, and he is the owner of the brand Trots. Good morning, Jared. How are you doing today?
Good morning, man. I'm good. How y'all doing?
I'm great, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kiara?
I'm good. Yeah.
Ready?
How are you?
Ready? So we'll ask Jared firstly about his brand. What is it? And what does that represent? What is Trots?
Well, Trots is a business that started like 3 years ago, and it was a brainchild of mine. I wanted to bring something different to the market. I felt the need to have something that you could wear throughout the entire year and not just at independence. So that was, the whole idea behind doing it. And I really did my degree in marketing, and I felt like I needed something to do, that would really fit me and what I wanted to do as a person personally. And I just felt like shoes was the way. And I started with the slides, and now this year we finally introduced some t-shirts. And the brand is just about, empowering people, letting them know, trusting their own path, and following the dream. So that's the whole basis behind the brand.
All right. So just talk to us a little bit about the symbolisms that are represented, particularly now on the slides. We'll get to the shirts a little later, but talk to us about the trident that we
Mhm.
could see here represented on the slide. So what does that mean?
Well, for me, I think the trident is a symbol of freedom, breaking free, being able to be, not inclined to the status quo, I think that for a very long time, even if you look at the system that we were brought up through, we got a way to, steps to follow. You start out at school, you go through that, and then you end up working for somebody. My thing was, let's be free, So the trident really means, I'm free to do what I want to do. And I think that that's a message that I try to share with everybody. You could be your own boss, you could be your own person and do what you want to do. Yeah.
Right. So with that being said, what does being a republic now? What does that mean to you?
I, honestly, very happy. I think that, it's a long time coming. I think that it was a very strong and I think a bold and powerful move by the government to actually say, you know what, let us become, our own people. Let us become free from the whole ties, and it is awesome. I think that, we really can really shine like the diamonds, like how she was talking about
Yeah,
Rihanna. I
yeah, yeah.
think that we also gonna be shining bright, and the world will also know that, Barbados is not just, a small island, but we have a great mind and, a great ways to go. Yeah.
Joining us today for our health nugget, which is unfortunately our final segment for the morning, is Simone Green. Kiara will be speaking to her about being a vegan here in Barbados. As you know, Bajans are foodies at heart. So let's see how she's able to make her favorite foods, excluding animal and meat products.
The Christmas season is here, and we know we always gain a few pounds this month. We eat lots of food and baked goods. So, speaking of baked goods, what ingredients would a vegan use to bake a nice Christmas fruit cake or any of our beloved Bajan pastries like sweetbread, etc.?
Yeah. So thank you for having me. I think the first thing is that the misconception that if you're vegan or you eat plant-based, because sometimes people aren't just vegan, that you have to forsake everything. And I can personally testify that you don't. I do have a predominantly plant-based diet that I follow, and I've made sweetbread. I've made patties, I've made brownies, I've made pone. I think the thing to note when you're doing plant-based or vegan is that you're just substituting items. So when you're thinking plant-based, if you're thinking, for instance, let's talk about sweetbread, which we know people bake a lot of sweetbread around Christmas. You're just going to be using a plant-based flour, which most flours are, but some people go the extra mile and use flours which are organic and not processed. You're also going to be using replacements for eggs. So you wouldn't use eggs, you could use flax seed. Some people have artificial egg replacers. And so it's just about taking the items that are animal-based or animal byproducts and replacing them with a plant-based option. So it's simple, it's easy to swap. And when you think about Black Cape, everything there, with the exception of, I believe, eggs, is plant-based. So all you have to do is find the appropriate substitute that you're comfortable with. I like flax. Some people buy the vegan egg replacers. They're an option. Some recipes I've seen have called for applesauce as an egg replacer because it becomes that binding agent. So you just use your creativity and just use the alternative.
What do you use to substitute things like chocolate, for like chocolate cake, for instance?
One thing I loved was brownies. And I was like, oh my God, I love brownies, but like I'm already gaining all this COVID weight from cooking and eating. What can I do to make this healthier? And I found a recipe for black bean and avocado brownies. And I tried it and I was like, black beans, avocados, like this can't, the recipe looked perfect. And I did the recipe and I didn't tell my friends who I gave some to that I did anything different. Because it's literally just the black beans, the avocados, some oil, some baking powder, and the cocoa powder. And if you want to, you can put in some organic chocolate chips in it. And they couldn't tell the difference until I told them I can still have my vegan brownies. And people use zucchini as another substitute. I've seen sweet potato to make brownies. For the Christmas ham, a lot of the plant-based food stores and supermarkets have their versions. I've not seen a version of ham, but I do know they have their versions of turkey and their versions of chicken. So for people who may want that, but I'm sure somewhere out there, there's a vegan version or a substitute for Christmas ham.
And what would you have to say to persons who say they will never eat vegan food or never be introduced to veganism?
Yeah. I'll probably say to them, you probably had vegan food and didn't even realize because it literally, you can't judge it anymore. Before, people are so creative right now. People are blending flavors and textures. I've done wings out of cauliflower that when you batter them and fry them and throw some sauce in them, you can't tell it's chicken unless you really look at it. Like it's about flavoring. I say never to it. I also say to people, don't wait until you have a health crisis to decide you want to do it. I say, try it. How I started was I started saying, okay, I'll do plant-based once a week. I'll do plant-based twice a week. Then I started, okay, I'm going to do it 3 days a week. Or some people do like a 30-day plant-based challenge. It's about building habits. It's not going to be easy, but just open your eyes to the opportunities and start small.
I've got to try some of those recipes. I probably have a vegan Christmas.
Oh, not me. I definitely love my Christmas ham.
Since March 2020, Barbados has been battling with the COVID-19 pandemic. As of November 30th, 2021, the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory identified 239 deaths from the virus and has carried out over 437,308 tests since February last year and has recorded 25,429 cases, which breaks down to 12,119 males and 13,310 females. But today, we take a look at the National Vaccination Program for COVID-19. The total number of persons with at least one dose is 153,586, which is 67.2% of the eligible population. The total number of persons who are fully vaccinated is 136,759, which is 50.5% of the total population, or 59.9% of the eligible population. The eligible population represents those persons who are 12 years and older. Today, the Chief Medical Officer set a target of 65% by January 2020.
I would like to see that we aim for a minimum of 65% by early January of next year. That is the only chance that we will have with respect to reducing community-based spread.
But given the current trends, do the numbers indicate that this will be possible? Let's take a look. The national vaccination program began in February, where Barbados recorded 2.3% of the population. In March, 22.3%. In April, 25.8%. In May, 27.4%. In June, 33.2%. July, 34.7%. August, 38.2%. September, 47.3%. October, 51.9%. And November, 53.4%, with an average of 5.34% per month. In terms of fully vaccinated, the average from February to November 2021 is 4.76%. It should be noted that between February and March, there was a 20% increase in vaccinations, and since then, the average of 5.34 has held. Based on current trajectory, if we are to expect that an average of 5.34% will get vaccinated, that will mean that the Chief Medical Officer's prediction or hope of 65% is off by 0.2%, which is within the margin of error, which means that Barbados could see 65% of its population vaccinated by the end of January 2022. Kobe Bruns for Ivy League TV.